Welcome back to Clear Talk. I'm your host, Armin Shaffi. This is my co-host,
Jeanette Oduro.
And this is the #1 show for coaches that need clarity and want to scale their business. The big question is, how do coaches like us that started with nothing risk everything to build a business around helping other people? How do we go out and get our message out there in the marketplace, get clients consistently, all while making a huge difference in the world? That is the big question, and this show will give you the answer. So welcome back to the show. We go live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, and we answer your questions about your business, about the mindset, about marketing, sales, anything you need help with. We go live inside of our high-ticket coaching community Facebook group for you guys to get that support that you need to get to the next level. Now, if you're on YouTube right now and you like content around growing your coaching business online and going high ticket, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so you get notified every single time we go live so that you can stay plugged in. And if you're in our Facebook group right now, why don't you drop down below what part of the world you're from and let us know that you're here by putting hashtag live so we know that you're here. And if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay so we know you stopped by. Drop a comment down below what city you're from. Now, one last thing is if you want your questions answered on the show live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, then all you need to do is to go to askarmin.com and submit your question there, and then we'll be able to put you in queue for the questions on the show and then answer them. So, Jay, you ready to rock and roll?
I am. I'm having issues with my positioning. I'm like, wait, I got a point to ask Armin. Is it this way? Is it that way? But yes, I'm excited, ready to go.
All right, awesome. I'm going to switch to AirPods real quick.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I just heard you, and then you cut it a bit.
Cool. Yeah, no, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Let's rock and roll.
Awesome. So question number 1. Should I continue to sell my program one-on-one? I have 3 people who I've sold to, so I'm not sure that's enough people for group coaching. But I know if I sell more people, and I want to, obviously, that I won't have time to maintain them all. What should I do? That question is from Mary Ann L.
So it's funny, actually, just created a new training inside of the SGC program called The Evolution of a 7-Figure Coach. And it's funny that this question came up because I literally just, finished the slides for yesterday. So see, like, the evolution, right, of a 7-figure coach and any type of coaching. I'm just mean to go to get to the top level. Everyone starts at selling one-to-one, right? Everybody starts at selling one-to-one because it's the easiest. Here's the thing. It's the easiest to sell, right? But it's the hardest to scale. Now, why is it the easiest to sell? Because the best offer you could ever give someone, right, is like your personal one-on-one time to make sure they get what they're paying for. So when you sell one-on-one, the person's buying like insurance, like reassurance, because they're going to be with you every single step of the way. So that's why it's the easiest to sell. It's easy to sell a $5,000 or $10,000 program when it's one-on-one over a period of months, right? But you can't scale that. If I close, let's say I'm crazy and I sell 20 clients one-on-one, that means I'm doing 20 1 to 2 hour sessions per week, right? Now, you would say that that's still 20 or 30 hours a week. It's still less than part-time, or that's only part-time in a job. But the thing is, after one session with a client, and only coaches would get this, you're going to be exhausted, right? The mental power it takes to do coaching is like 10 hours compared to one of labor, okay? So you're going to feel like you're working 200 hours. That's the thing, right? So one-on-one gets really exhausting. Like I know because I booked up full days of one-on-ones. Last week, I think I did 6 to 7 one-to-one client sessions, 2 days back to back. And I was like, oh my God, I need to like recalibrate myself and rebalance. And those are my elite clients, right? So it's just a lot. So it's hard to scale. it's not a sustainable way to build a business. It is a really good way to make a lot of money if you're all alone, if you're self-employed and you don't have a team or you're not looking to do like millions of dollars. Then it is a great way to sell. Think about it like this: you sell three $10,000 clients one-on-one. You're only seeing 3 people a week. That lasts you maybe, to say 8 weeks. That's 15 grand a month or 30 grand in sales in the last 2 months. So it's a really sustainable model if your only goal is to make 10 to 30 grand a month, because it's really easy. You're looking at 3 to 6 clients. But the next step, what's the next step if you want to increase your level of income in less time so that it doesn't hurt your personal life, it doesn't like take from your time, while still making a bigger impact, like helping more people? Because the one-on-one model, it's like a binary, equation. I'm either making lots of money and then losing lots of time, or I'm getting lots of time back, but I'm not making that much money. And so the problem with that is that it has a conflicting motive, right? You have one motive that wants to make money, but you have also another motive that wants to have time still, or not to overwork and burn out. And so these things battle against each other, because every time you want to make more money, you gotta now you now have to hit the whole burnout and like doing too much time. But if you want to have more time, you got to sell less clients. So it's really hard. But again, if your goal is to only make 10, 20, 30 grand a month, then that's fine. You don't need a team. You don't need anything. You just need a good funnel, a good method for getting those clients, and close high ticket, and you're good. Now, if you want to scale from 30 to 100 grand, right? 30 to 100 grand or beyond, you can't do one-on-one only. You just can't. Like, I'm not saying you can't sell 1 or 2 really high ticket, like 25K or something like crazy. If you have the confidence level to charge that and have an offer that good, then yeah, that is another easy way to scale that. But still, you're going one-on-one. But what if it's not just about money, like making more in less time. Maybe you want to help more people, right? Well, if you're doing one-on-one, you have a cap to how many people you can possibly help. So what's the next step after one-on-one coaching is group coaching. So group coaching is where you take all the clients and you put them into one session at a time, and you answer everybody's questions and help everyone at the same time, right? Now, you still do one-on-one with each one, but now everyone else is watching. And you learn how to leverage that one session, right? So that everyone gets what they need. It's just a new skill you have to develop. Whereas in one-on-one, it's as easy as like ask questions back and forth and go through a process. Technically, group is the same way. The only difference is you got to get really good at relating one client's situations to everyone else's and teaching in a widespread. It's like doing a little seminar. Now, imagine I go 20 clients, one-on-ones. That's 20 to 30 hours per week, right? To see someone over 8 weeks. Well, if I sell the group version of that, right, I make the same amount of money or more, right? I do it in less time. I go from 20 to 30 hours a week to like, let's say 3 hours a week, which is one big session with everyone, right? So everyone gets what they need. And I help the same amount of people without burning myself out. Like I help more people without burning myself out, right? So in the same time that I would help 2 clients for 90 minutes each, I can help 20 in one group session. Do you get what I'm saying? So the group model is the next model, right? Now, the only reasons why people don't do a group, like Armin, my clients, they like to see one-on-one, or what I do in coaching, it's very personal. It's not impersonal to do group coaching. That's a misconception, right? I've done probably my group coaching styles, or my seminar coaching, is arguably more personable than most people's one-on-one coaching, because that's just how I show up. I create an environment for that. So your job is to create an environment where it is safe and personable so that people can open up. And again, it's better for the client, right? Like, it's better for the client because if they're able to open up or to just share, their progress or their wins or losses in front of others, it's another breakthrough in and of itself. By the way, it just reminded me of something. If my team's on the call, I know they are, we can drop a link to private coaching versus group coaching. If you guys want to know the benefits and the pros and cons towards selling private coaching, selling group coaching, there's a good YouTube video I filmed on this, which shows you, obviously I'm in favor of going more group because I want to help more people make more money in less time so that I can take that less time and help more people. It's a win-win-win scenario, and that's the only way to do that is group, right? I can help more people in like 1/10 of your time if you're selling one-on-one and I'm selling group coaching. And I don't have to sacrifice my personal life, like too much burnout, and I don't have to sacrifice income, right? Whereas you would have to if you're doing one-on-one. So group is the next level, right? Group is where you leverage time, right? So one-on-one is where you leverage like accountability, like you give them one-on-one attention, and it's easy to sell, right? Whereas group coaching is you're leveraging time now to make more money in less time while helping more people. Got it? So now what's the next level to that? You would think that's the last level, right? It's not. The last level of coaching is on-demand coaching. Yeah. On-demand coaching is when you automate all the aspects of your coaching that don't require live attention. So in every good coaching program, there is a system in place to help the client get a result. There's a system and process. There's strategic coaching, which is the part where you work with them throughout that system. And then there's the philosophy, like how to think, right? And the support of like doing it all. So if you can automate the part that doesn't require you to do it live, then the only thing left on your hands to do is actual coaching, not teaching them what to do, not the step-by-steps, not figuring out the small little things or showing them how to think about it. And a good example is like Tony Robbins, right? Tony Robbins is the most highest paid life coach in the world and breakthrough coach, whatever you want to call him. And he makes his multi-millions of dollars from having recorded his coaching programs. Instead of teaching it live every single weekend, he took them and turned them into audio tapes back in the day, right? So you have personal power, you have the on the edge or whatever. This is on-demand coaching because people will go and learn what they need to do to change their life, and they will implement that. But the only time they'll want actual coaching from him is the one they pay thousands of dollars to go to a seminar to get his personal live attention, because some people need the strategic coaching part. Now at his level, obviously he only helps a few people and he does the group model in that moment. But the on-demand model is when you turn your coaching into a course, into a training. And then people get to coach themselves with your information. Now you go, but that's not coaching anymore. It technically is, because the way we teach it in SGC is to sell that along with weekly calls where you do a group model and help everyone throughout it. So you're still being their coach, but you're leveraging an on-demand training, like a recorded training, as the majority of the learning process as opposed to the coaching process. Because when a client comes to you as a coach, at least in high-ticket coaching, you're teaching them how to get some type of result or solve a problem. You're not just sitting there asking questions, right? I don't promote the therapeutic model of coaching, where you sit there and you just question and answer and then they see you again. I don't believe that's useful to anyone. So the real high-ticket coaching, the way to charge 5, 10, 15 more grand per month, or per client, is when you're a high-ticket coach, when you're getting someone from point A to point B. And the way to do that, the best way, the last level of the evolution of a 7-figure coach, is on demand. Okay, giving them an on-demand training and then mixing that with weekly calls. Now, here's why you would want to do that. See, one-on-one is leveraging the attention to make the sale easier, right? It's easy to sell. Group coaching is leveraging time, so you can make more money in less time while helping more people. You can take on more people, leverage that time to help more people, and make more money while you're at it without sacrificing or hurting your personal life. On-demand coaching is leveraging systems. When you're leveraging a system, now you can reach millions. This is where you literally make the most amount of money you can in the least amount of time. There is no limit or cap to how many clients you can take on or how much money you can make and how much impact you can make. So there's no cap. This is the limitless level. Now, this is also where fame and influence come in. Because when you have an on-demand model, you have a recorded training of what you do, of your expertise, of your coaching, and you have a weekly call. It's a sustainable model to grow to thousands of people around the world, right? This is how Tony's reached like 10 plus million people over 40 years, because he has an on-demand model. People buy his trainings, they learn that stuff, then they come into the group model places where he helps them through it. But it's like an ecosystem of coaching he's created. If his only business was you can only learn something when you pay him to go learn it from him in a group model, like in a setting or one-on-one, he would never reach millions and millions of people, right? So on-demand coaching is where you leverage systems, group coaching is where you leverage time, and one-on-one coaching is where you leverage like accountability to sell it really easier. So leverage is really the secret here. And the group model, people just stop there, which is leveraging time. And I think this is it. And again, you could build a good, 30 to 50, 60, $70,000 business. Maybe if you really push yourself, you could grow to $100,000 a month business. I just personally wouldn't want to get to $100,000 selling live group coaching, because that's a lot of responsibility to the clients and a lot of work on my end still. Even though it's less time, I still have to keep delivering. So I'm tied and I'm chained to the result of my clients, which is kind of unfair to them, right? Like they have to wait for a call or wait for you to get the result. And again, that is a part of coaching, but what if you can replace yourself in that process so they can get their own results? And then you give the coaching only when necessary. That way you're changing thousands of people's lives with virtually no time, because they're in charge of their own life, right, with what you're teaching. And they get what they need only sometimes with your coaching. And you make no cap to how much money or clients or you can make or you can get in the amount of time. So influence and fame come there. You cannot become a famous or influential person in your industry without on-demand. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the cool part too. When you reach on-demand coaching, your time becomes very valuable because there is super high supply, super high demand for your coaching, for your time, one-on-one now. And your supply is low because your time is being put into building this on-demand model, and all your clients are getting your weekly time. So now what you've done is it's like a full circle. If you go back to the one-on-one, now the one-on-one is your most expensive thing, right? And it's a hell of a lot easier to sell. Example, you might start out by charging $2,500, right? For one-on-one coaching over 2 months. That's how you start. Then you could scale to it's $2,500 to go into the group model. Now, you don't have to charge less to do group. It's not less expensive. It's more valuable, if anything. But let's just say you charge the same amount of money. Let's say you don't. I would increase the price. But let's say you don't. Now you're charging $2,500 per client for a group model, which means all you really did is make the same amount of money, but now cut down how much time it takes to deliver coaching, right? So you can take on more clients, yeah? But then your time is back in your hands and the clients don't have as much of it, but they're still getting the similar results. Now let's say you go to on-demand coaching, and again, I would charge more. I would go more, but let's say you don't. Let's say you just charge $2,500 still. I would never charge this low. I'm just saying, let's say you don't. Well, now you don't even have to wait for like the next 2 weeks, 2-month program to start to launch it to fill people in again. You don't have to wait. You're not tied to time or launches anymore. Everyone just funnels in continuously into the program because it's on demand, right? Now you're just getting no cap to how much money you can make. Now your time is also even more streamlined, right? But the clients are getting a video coaching version of you. More, like 80% of the coaching will be the training. But now, again, demand will go even higher for your time because they really are getting breakthroughs from just your trainings. Imagine if they worked with you one-on-one, right? Or got more time with you. But the supply is super low because your business model doesn't require you to be in the business anymore much. You're just there for those, 4 to 6 hours a week on group calls. Now, if you go back to selling a one-on-one offer, you can sell for like $25,000 instead of $2,500 because you've created a scenario where the clients are getting massive breakthroughs. With that $2,500, you'd over-delivered. They've gotten $50,000 worth of value. So when you open up 5 or 10 spots for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, anyone will take it because you've nurtured the best type of clients there, and they want your one-on-one time because they already know they're going to get the value. Now, here's the cool thing. That's how Tony charges $1 million plus profit share on his most highest ticket clients because he doesn't need to do one-on-one, nor does he want to really. So, but there are people who really want him and will pay anything. And so he opened up whatever. He has 12 clients or something alone that pay $1 million a year, and he gets a profit share of their company. So he makes literally tens of millions of dollars just from 45-minute sessions times 12 people. That's the right way to do one-on-one coaching. But you can't sell that kind of one-on-one coaching until you build this ecosystem, this business, where everyone in the market knows you're valuable at that level. But you got to work them way up by doing the one-on-one at first. So they see, then you go to the group, you leverage, then you go to the on-demand, and you have a system now in place. Now they really want your one-on-one time, but they know your system and your coaching is good. So funny enough, one-on-one comes back to the end of it as the most premium thing you can sell. Whereas in the beginning, it starts as the only thing you have to sell and the cheapest thing you have. So it's just, that's the evolution of a 7-figure coach, really. And I hope that answers the question. But
that is quite the loop. My goodness. Super stack. if you wanted to call it that. I think it's like a super stack. But yeah, I definitely
Tell
think
me
it
this.
answers your question. So, yeah.
Yeah. Read the question one more time, because I think I explained a training, but I didn't answer the actual question. Maybe like tell me the question one more time.
A little bit. So, should I continue to sell my program one-to-one? I have 3 people who I've sold to, so I'm not sure that's enough people for group coaching. But I know if I sell more people, and I want to, obviously, that I won't have time to maintain them all. So, what should I do?
Oh, of course. Well, the
So,
answers
you
apply.
definitely answered it. You
It
leveraged
depends
it.
on
You
your
leveraged
goal,
your
right?
time.
If your
Yeah.
goal is to make more money in less time, obviously go to group and you want to help more people. If your goal is, again, if you want to save time and make the same amount of money, do that, And the easiest way to do it, by the way, is just like literally put everyone like, here's the thing, guys, the way your attitude is when you show up about something is how people mirror you, right? Like if you're worried like, oh, my clients are going to be like, oh, but it's group now. That's just you in your mind. Have they said that yet? No. And even if they do, the way you respond and frame things is what they're going to model, right? Like you just say, hey, like I want to make this better for you. So I realize you can learn from each other more. So I'm going to be putting everyone in a group. That's it. Everyone's still going to get one-on-one, like go on a rotation, do a hot seat or something, but and like still do the same thing, but they're going to love it more knowing that there's a community now. There's other people with the same similar situations that they can learn from. They learn from you coaching others like that they didn't even think about asking. So just frame those things and then just be like, yeah, guys, like that's what it is, how much it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely go to group. And the on-demand is the last level, but you definitely want to be prepared for that. It's not a joke because you're building systems for everything, right? You're building system for marketing, for sales, for leads, for your coaching. You automate your program. It's a big process, but it's worthwhile because again, like no limit to income, no limit to how many people you could help, leveraged on every level and fame and influence, right? So
Yeah. And I think that, if anybody was just paying attention to that, to your previous explanation about how Tony built his business, it's pretty self-explanatory that that is the best method of operation if your goal is to scale big, right? So love that.
yeah.
Okay, next question is I had a group coaching session last week and unfortunately got into a conflict with one of my clients while the others were on the call. About 8 people were on. I have my next session coming up and I haven't addressed any of it since. How do I go into today's session? And should I take them out of the group and do one-on-one with them? This is the first time I've experienced this. It's from Anonymous.
That's just in your head. Your clients didn't say anything. If you think it's a problem, it becomes a problem. If you don't think it's a problem and you move on, no one's gonna think it's a problem. They're gonna move on. Yeah, it's just literally you're eating yourself alive because you think something's wrong now and everything's awkward. No one cares. It's been a week, right? Promise you, all 7 of the other clients, they don't even remember you did that. That one might, right? But like that's not, that's not a problem. And if you get on the call and you feel it's a problem, just address it and frame things positively. Funny enough, just a couple of weeks ago, I had an incident with a client as well, and I had grounds for giving some tough love coaching. It wasn't really a conflict, but it was conflicting, right? Like I was confronting. It was a little aggressive, and it was what that person needed in that moment, right? And there was like 15 people watching on the call, and they just kind of we just kind of got off the call, and I moved on to the next person as if nothing was wrong, right? Because what if I got all ill in my head? Then it'd be weird. But I didn't get in my head. And what I did was I booked a one-on-one with that person specifically, actually, and I addressed it, and they were upset, and I'm like, look, here's the reason why I did that, and we're here because we want to help you grow, and we got to the bottom of like the fact that what I did was totally useful, and it was for them and not against them, and they took responsibility for what they did. I took responsibility for what I did, and I fixed that one-on-one. Like if you need to do that with that person, because again, coaching is a very hard thing to do with people, like because what they're paying you for is to get somewhere new, right? To be someone new, which means it's going to be uncomfortable, which means your job is to do something that's uncomfortable. If you fail to pre-frame that in the beginning of your programs, that's your fault, right? Like they have to understand it's going to be uncomfortable. That's very important to understand. And so I do that very well in my program. Like everyone gets like it's going to be hard and uncomfortable. But that's the point, right? Like, why are we here? If it was so easy, why would you pay so much money for a coach? So I would neutralize that with that person. But the next call, literally move on as if nothing happened. And here's the thing. Here's the cool thing when you do that. One, either they all do feel weird about it, but because you're not addressing it, dude, you don't care, and you move on, you just go to the positive stuff and just get going and moving forward with everyone, they'll kind of like brush it off really quickly and move on with you. They'll take your lead. And the other cool part is, let's say that they don't care. No one even remembers. Then you just realize how quickly it doesn't matter and you move on. So either way, you win. If you just move on, progress without making a big deal or making it into something. Don't turn it into something, right? The biggest mistake someone could do is turning something in their head into something in the real world real, right? Like, don't. Until it's real in the real world, don't make it real. If it's a problem in your head, just wait until it's an actual problem and then do something about it, because 9 out of 10 times, most people will create the problem because they bring it from their head into the world. Like, don't do that. There's a lot of times where I used to like, holy shit, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? It's just in my head. Like, I remember I called Jeanette once, and I had some delusional client of mine from years ago who did one of my offers for something, hit me up like with the most nonsense message I could have ever read. And all these scenarios ran through my head, like, how do I handle this? This is the problem, right? What do I do? And after talking to Jeanette, I'm just like, I don't need to do anything. Because technically there was nothing said in the text. It was just it was a pathetic, really, message. And I felt bad because probably the guy's in a really bad place, and that's why he had to send something like this to me. And so I'm like, all right, I didn't do anything. Guess what? Nothing happened. Imagine I did something. Imagine I made it into a thing. Imagine I addressed it. Imagine I publicized it. Like, I would have been the problem, not the person. So I also blocked their number because like I don't like bullshit in my life. I just protect my mind, right? But you're with clients. Like, even if it's with clients, again, you can't block them. But what you can do is to completely ignore it and see and test if it's an actual problem. Because if it is, it'll turn into a circumstantial thing. If it's not, it's like nothing ever happened. It was just a little blip. So don't worry about it. Move on. Get it out of your head. Don't worry about it.
I love that. Okay, our next question is, I'm having a hard time fostering community among my group coaching clients. They only talk to me and not to each other. How can I get them to open up more and create relationships? That question is from Leo P.
Your community is going to mirror you. Okay? They're only doing that because that's how you are. That's really the truth. Like, they're only closed off to each other because you're like not demonstrating what it looks like to be open to each other. So so one is my team and we create the community environment. We show them by leading by example what it should be like. We'll comment on each other's stuff, on everyone's stuff. We'll like, I'll like comment on each other and the team. So I'll show them what we believe community is, and then they'll mirror that. They'll be a part of it. Like, my clients mimic our culture. It's funny, actually. So that's one way. If you don't have a team and you're alone, then a good other way to do this is very strategic. I used to do this in my seminars. Is sometimes when someone asks the question, I would ask someone else if they have an answer. And I'd open up the field to help each other out. That's another cool thing you could do. And I've done this before on one of my calls. Now on the Zoom calls, week calls, is kind of weird. But I have before, like, I brought someone else on. And I'm like, hey, man, you used to deal with this. What do you think about this? And they'd be like, well, you're putting me on the spot. But then the community would open up to each other, right? So that's another thing on the group calls, letting each other answer each other's stuff. And then also stepping at the end and making sure the person got what they needed, because the simultaneous thing could happen. Like, they'll be like, I'm here for you. Like, why are, that will be there though. If you're trying to create community with each other, you're going to have that little bit of friction where for that little time, they'll be like, why is this person answering? I paid you. But like, do that anyways, but then bring them in so that they kind of start to value each other because they see they have good perspectives. Now, you also want to be careful, because if you open that kind of community up, now they are going to coach each other. And if they're here to learn from you, that means they still need to learn themselves. So I have also a witness where my clients will give each other the wrong advice, and I'll watch that. And again, part of it is I go, it's okay. They'll learn. The other part is I make sure I keep the balance of the right information being passed around, right? So, like in my client group, people will post things, and I will read everyone's comments, and I'm like, it's like not all the time. Sometimes I'm like, and I'll come and I'll just drop my own comment. And obviously, the person will value my comment more just because they paid to be there and learn from me. But everyone else got to put their 2 cents in, which is good. And sometimes they have really good advice. So you got to kind of make sure you manage that. But it's a part of it. If you want community, you can't control everyone's going to think like you, like end of story. So the community, you have to sacrifice a little bit of control there. And the other thing you could do is in your group, if you have a Facebook group or a place where everyone hangs out, you can create things that create culture, right? Like create challenges or competitions, so that everyone kind of has a fun like challenge with each other, or create a question post where everyone gets to write things about something and they all connect in a way. It's like creating networking conversations. That's another way to get them to really start to like each other. Yeah. And the other thing is you can just get on the call and be like, guys, I want you to start connecting with each other. You can just say, I want a community. Okay. You guys should start talking to each other. I mean, if you haven't tried that, at the very least, try that first. So those are some really good ways actually to create good client culture in your program.
Yeah, and Armin kind of mentioned it. We do have a private community group where our students are. So if you don't have one, you should create one as soon as possible and leverage the group. So if people have questions, even that they bring to you on calls, and you can say, hey, like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Post it in the group. See what other people have to say. Get some feedback there from the group. Right. Another one of our clients, a couple of weeks ago is learning how to practice the sales script. So I'm like, awesome. If you're practicing the sales script, you need to role play. Put in the group right now and ask for role play partners, because someone in the group is also working on sales and wants to practice just as much as you. So hit them up and go practice. Right. Sometimes you need to create the like Armin said, you got to give them a bit of a push. Right. Get out of your own comfort zone. Go talk to people. Sometimes people don't feel like. Sometimes actually people in your group are afraid to talk to one another, right? Sometimes they're a little nervous to open up and be vulnerable to one. Maybe they think that other people in the group are doing better than them. Maybe they think other people in the group are, more successful, or they're ahead of them in the path. But as long as you just create this level of neutrality, that everyone is a student here and everyone can work together, I think that's the best possible way that you can leverage a group. And Jordan says our group is fire, and he's right, because the group is fire.
It's real fire. It's like beyond my control now. Like the culture has grown bigger than me. And it's kind of cool because now I'm not leading this community anymore. I'm just a part of this community, which is the ultimate point, right? Like I'm just another person in this awesome community. Like even if I closed off SGC right now, I am positive everyone in this program would come together and create their own group chat.
Fact.
I don't see why that wouldn't happen. And it's funny because I was in, and it's hard to do that online, guys. Like I used to easily do this in seminars. People will come out for 3 days and they'd spend 3 days together, 12 hours a day in a room. And I'd do all these exercises and these group things together. So they built bonds. And then we'd finish off every 3-day seminar with something called the Circle of Honor. Oof. By the way, when we do a live event for our SGC students, we should totally do that.
We have to.
Literally straight. That would be the strongest Circle of Honor we've ever done, because they've already built all this relationship. Imagine
I'll cry for hours, Armin. I cry every Circle
actually,
of Honor. I will cry for hours after that.
It'd be crazy. It'd be a crazy Circle of Honor. We'll do it in September when we do that Florida event. So anyways, so that's really hard. But even after those 3-day seminars, I would have these group chats with everyone who showed up. So it'd be 30 to 50 people would be in that chat. And honestly, those chats would stay active for 6 to 12, sometimes even 2 years. 6 to 12 months, sometimes 2 years. I had one of them specifically since 2017 be active until 2019. And I would never go inside. I would just see, every now and then I would see, but they were helping each other out, going to each other's events. It was crazy. But culture is very, very, very important. In fact, if you want to scale a company from 7 to 8 figures, the same message is everywhere in the communities and masterminds I'm in, which is culture, is how you do that. Culture in your team, culture in your community. Because to go past 1 million, to get to 10 million, and that's just money, but to go to that size of a company, you need to have a strong foundational culture. The people must grow it. It's not just a marketing technique anymore. Everyone's good at marketing at that level. It's really about who has the strongest culture, community, right? So definitely creating an identity shift as well, like in your culture, in your community, your program, having people identify with something, right? Like we have something called the Leader's Oath, and we listen to it every single coaching call I started with. And it's really just a reminder that, you're a leader because you've chosen to build a business, to be an entrepreneur, to be this person. And every single coaching call, I play that. It's 5-minute audio. And it's like this audio I recorded myself with an inspirational song. And all the clients I can imagine, every single time they hear it, they go, man, I'm here for a reason, right? I make them think bigger. I make them see a vision. And for that, we create strong momentum and culture. People are like, they're a part of something. Like the clients I have, if they're plugged into my culture, they can't ever comprehend going somewhere else because it would be like leaving a family. That's how bad it would feel, because you can't buy another program like mine. You can't. It's not possible. There's other versions of what I'm doing, but I'm saying you can't buy another program as a means to an end for your business. I've created such an environment with the team and with the clients. You feel like you'd be leaving your own family if you left. So now it's like loyalty becomes normal, right? And the only time I've ever had clients like think about going out of the programs is when they're not like using what they have. They're not in the training. They're not in the community. They're not in the groups. They're not on the calls. And that's their fault. Like, we can't do anything about that. But every person that gets on the group calls, stays active in the group, and goes through the training, they literally, like, they show me like same level of family love like I would get from my own family. Yeah. So it's like you can't think about leaving. Plus, we make it really hard, irresistible, because we give everything you possibly need to scale to 100 grand a month in this business. So you don't really need anything else. But my point though is it's really, really, really powerful. And creating culture is actually very, very important. But the main thing I'll say is this: it's comes from you first as the owner, as the coach. It comes from you. I'm in some groups with thousands of people that are like me, and the owners or the leaders of those communities, they're not very community oriented. In fact, they're more individualized, right? It's not their strength, let's say. They lead by ego. They don't lead by community or love or anything like that. And so what I see is thousands of people in these groups, very little engagement, very little community support. And the little bit of community support that this gets created, like some people do come together, it's all dysfunctional, right? It's like them against us against them. And I'm in programs like this, and I see it, and it's really sad because there's some great people, And every community has the potential to be a great community. Every program, I'm saying. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm in one specific program where there's about 1,000 people in there, and the owner is very self-centered, very self-oriented. Nothing wrong about it. It's just they're clearly not there for community or building something big. It's just a means to an end for them to coach and help people. So on these mastermind calls we would go on, there'd be all these people on, all these extraordinary minds, and they're yearning for culture, for community. But the owner doesn't do that. It's not their focus. They don't care. What I did is I stepped in and I offered it. I offered to create like a roundtable mastermind, more so something that's community oriented. And I had like 15 to 20 people say, I want to do that. And now every 2 weeks we get on these Zoom calls, and they show up and this community gets formed. It's crazy. And from that community, like, we all grow each other. So I'm like, it's funny because the owner could be having this connection with his own clients, but I'm the one having it instead, simply because I'm the one who's leading that myself. Like, I wanted that. And so don't be a fool. If you're going to build a good program and a good coaching business, make sure you provide that community, that place where your clients can connect and be with each other. Or else, if you don't provide it, they'll go somewhere else to get it.
Oh, I love talking about community. It's so important. Very, very important when you're building a program. So that was a good answer. Okay, our next question is, I think my niche prefers the one-on-one time as they're more high-level clients. I've already tried to ask a couple of them if they'd be interested in a group coaching setting, and we had some conflict because they felt what they paid meant they should get one-on-one time with me. Should I make a new offer for group coaching and just sell that to new people? That question is from Olivia R.
Yeah. The problem is you're asking if they're interested. It's not their call. You're the coach, right? You know what's best for them, right? You know what's best for them. It's like you go to the doctor And the doctor goes, I'm wondering, are you interested in this kind of medicine? What do you mean? I'm like, oh no, I don't like those. What? You're here because I know what to do for you, right? So like I would never go to my clients and go, would you be open to group? I'm curious. Because you're approaching it like you need something. That's the problem. Right? Like you're framing it as a negative. Like, oh, I know 101's so good. But the group is just I just really need time back. And so are you willing to get less time from me? Like that's what you sound like, even if you don't say it. I would never do that. I'd walk in with a very good, solid perspective to why group is going to make them achieve their goals faster. Hey, listen, we've been doing the one-on-one thing. It's been great. Let me tell you something. I really want to take it to the next level, and more time with me is not going to do that for you. I promise you that. I've worked with enough clients to know that. What I need you to start getting is perspective and compounded coaching. And I'm like, what is that? Well, see, if I go with you one-on-one, it's good, right? You get that attention, but it's narrow because all we're doing is thinking about you and your scenario. But oftentimes your solutions to what you need fixed is probably going to be in some outside of the box thinking. And I can't access that if I'm just with you on a call. So what I've done is I'm putting together a group call instead. And I'm going to bring all the clients I work with one-on-one. And I'm still going to do the one-on-one. But what I want is from everyone to benefit from each other's scenarios. Because, see, here's the thing, Bob. When John asks me a question about something in his situation, you may not have even thought about asking that question. But it's probably something you're dealing with. And so what we're going to start doing is leveraging other people's questions, right, and coaching to help you get ahead faster. It's actually an unfair advantage because there's no other way to do that. You're going to benefit from getting multiple pieces of coaching and perspectives from one call, right? So we're still going to do the one-on-one. We're just going to have an audience so everyone can learn from each other, right? That way also you can have other people to see what's possible, to get community and help from. I'm going to make sure you still get the results, but I genuinely believe this is going to be a better way, and that's why I'm going to be doing this, okay? So we're starting this Thursday. It's at 2 p.m. You're going to be there, right? Like that's what I would say. I don't ask, will you be there? Are you okay with this? By the way, again, misconception. Group coaching is not cheaper. This is your mindset problem.
Whoa, Armin, debunk this. Hold up. Debunk this.
Well, I'm assuming someone will go, I'll charge $5,000 or one-on-one. But if I'm doing group, I'm only going to charge $1,000. What? Why? Guys, they're not paying for time. They're paying for the result. If group is going to get them the result faster, it's none of their business how they're getting that result. They just want the result. And again, you don't discount the price because of how they get the result. That makes no sense. Right? It's like saying, if you buy this car, you can come pick it up at the dealership, one-on-one. We're going to charge $30,000. But if we ship it to you, we should, hold on a second. They shut up. But if they ship it to you, right? A lot of stuff going on my computer. Jay, you there?
Yeah, I am. You okay?
Yeah. They're trying to call me. The appointment for 11:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just got there. Anyway, so it's the result that they're paying for, guys, not your time. So now, again, I'm not saying you can't charge more because you are justifying by giving one more time. But like I remember selling $5,000 for one-on-one in the beta phases of my program. And then when I first launched a program back in the day, it was still $5,000. But it was group now, right? It was an on-demand model. So pricing shouldn't be based off how much time they get. Now, again, when you're really busy, obviously the price for your one-on-one time goes up. That's probably where it would matter, right? But not in the beginning. Not in the beginning. No, not in the beginning. So tell me the question one last time. I just want to make sure I answer it directly, but
yeah,
it's because they're asking like, hey, are you interested? Don't ask them if you're interested.
Yeah. So I think my niche prefers the one-on-one time as their more high-level clients. I've already tried to ask a couple if they'd be interested in a group coaching setting, and we had some conflict because they felt what they paid meant they should get one-on-one time with me. Should I make a new offer for group coaching and just sell that to new people?
Again, yeah. So so now I heard it in a different way too. So that first one was a good answer. Here's another one. Because I have dealt with the high level clients, high level clients. Everyone's high level, guys. Okay. I get someone might be more like ahead, but doesn't make them exempt to rules like of coaching. They're only going to think that if they think everyone else, if they're better than everyone else in the group. Isn't that true? Are they going to say that if they know they're going to be there? If I'm selling, let's say, a group program and someone's doing 30 grand a month and they're in the room and someone's doing 100, are they going to be like, oh, I deserve more one-on-one? No. So that's all perspective. Again, how you frame it is the real answer. You got to learn how to frame things in the benefit of the person. Then they'll always say yes to what you're saying. However, you can continue the one-on-ones with the highest level myself. That's fine. I have an elite offer, and I have a portion of my week that I put towards that, right? You could have a separate offer, I guess, for people that are maybe earlier in the stages of whatever you're coaching. And yeah, that could be less expensive, all that. But just because it creates more like of an ascension ladder there, right, for offers. But if it depends on your goal. Is your goal to scale? Is your goal to get back time? Is your goal to make more money? Because whatever the goal is, you should engineer what you do to get to that goal faster. If it's the scale, then yeah, you want to go group, right? If it's to make more money, then sell more one-on-one because it's easier to sell it and you could charge a lot more because you're justifying by one-on-one, okay? But the result is still like you don't discount it because of group. You're just charging more for one-on-one, but you should charge the same price for group, I'm saying, right? Because it's the result is what's worth what they're paying. If your goal is to just get back time, then, finish the one-on-ones you have, right? Either learn to frame it in a good way so that they do want the one-on-one, the group, or just finish them and just only sell group. It really depends on your goal, but there is no conflict unless you make it a problem. That's what I'm saying. And don't approach it with from a lower standpoint, like, please, will you let me do group? No. That's your problem, dude. It's your approach. It's your approach that's bad.
All I see in my head is the meme with the little raccoon, and he's like, will you please take my group coaching offer?
That's funny.
So cute. Okay.
Oh, is there an ad? Send it to me.
No, it's a meme. It's like a meme from a cartoon show. Like it's like a little fox. He's wearing a hat and like a top coat, an overcoat, and he's got a little cup in his hand, like he's begging.
That's funny.
I'll send it to you. You can make it an ad though. I think it'll be a good one. Okay, our next question is, I offer group coaching, but my clients are very obviously at different skill set levels. I'm feeling inclined to break them up. Different groups per skill level to foster their growth with who's working on the same thing. Is breaking up your offer by skill set counterproductive?
Are they talking about the group calls or like who they sell?
Yeah, the actual group calls, I think. So during the sessions, so I offer group coaching, but my clients are very obviously at different skill set levels. Okay. I'm feeling inclined to break them up. Different groups per scale level to foster their growth with who's working on the same thing. Is breaking up your offer by skill set counterproductive?
See, it's a good question, right? This is a really good question. If there's enough questions and people in one category of the journey, then it's smart to have a group just for them, a call for them. If you find it's one-offs, that's not enough yet, right? So in my program, we do like 4 calls a week. 3 of those are with me. And I handle all types of questions. And I'll get a lot of questions like about tech stuff, about logistical stuff, like reviewing PDFs and stories and all that. And then I'll get like questions about how to fix something, right? But genuinely, like I've been doing this online group call offer for like almost a year now. And I feel like I'm just reaching the point where I have enough volume of one type of category of call to create a call for it. So if you Like what I'm trying to say is you don't do it too quick, because then what you'll find is you have one call that's filled with a bunch of people that do want help, but it's like Wednesday, and then you have another call on Monday for other people you thought would need different type of help, but only one person shows up, and now the other people have to wait. There's like 7 people that have to wait for the Wednesday, and it's just dysfunctional. Now it's like you're wasting that Monday call. So until you have enough people asking questions on per every call about a certain part of the journey, like beginner or advanced or something like that, I wouldn't break them up. Then it becomes counterproductive, because your clients are going to become like waiting for no reason, right? How would you know them? Well, in our program, we have a Google form, right? And we have people submit their questions in advance. So we have hundreds of questions, obviously, in there. And we can see what module people are in, because we choose what module are you in. So I'll know if there's enough people in a certain module asking questions after like a month, then I'll create its own call just for those questions. And I also have to see the frequency of it. Like, is it every call, or is it like all the calls came 1 week because we had a new amount of people come in, and that's obviously why. So you got to be smart about it. But the goal is this. There's no right way to do this. The goal is this. Make sure you have at least 3 to 5 questions a week about a specific thing or a category of problem before you make a call for it, because or else people have to wait a whole week for just that one call, and it just becomes weird. And so in my program, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm on a call, group call, answering all types of questions, so people don't have to wait. So only if you find like you get like a big gap between like advanced questions and beginner questions, and the advanced people have to wait, and the beginner, like all that stuff, like, yeah. And again, also categorize, like prioritize your questions on the calls. Like if you see it's something that's quicker, like put it up front in the call so that you get over it faster and you get to the hard stuff later, because then those quick people can just get the questions answered and get off. If you see that the advanced stuff takes more time, or is more like they need help, then put them first and put the beginners last, because the beginners have the time to like answer the foundational questions, but advanced, they just want to get it and move on. So also the way you handle the questions and what you answer in what order also affects the call. But again, you got to make sure there's enough people. Yeah, don't just make a call for one specific category because 1 or 2 people ask questions. That's not. I need to see it for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and then I'm like, okay, now it's like I need a call for this. And so like we're about to. I'm probably about to make one of the calls dedicated to just beginner stuff, like offer creation and messaging, right? And offer validation, like all around what to do in the beta phase of a business, right? Because I do have, my program is really for people who want to scale to 100 grand, but I still get a lot of people that come in and like, man, I'm just starting out. I've been trying to get a client for the last 3 months. It's not working. So I still work with those beginner coaches, but they have to show a level of seriousness before I let them in. So I might create a call just for them to, so that they don't get mixed up with the advanced clients I have who are running webinars and ads and hyper organic stuff and getting clients and scaling, and probably separate those two. So like a beginner call and an advanced call. We might do that. And then I might do like an Ask Me Anything call, an AMA. And the AMAs could be like anything, no matter what it is, and just boom, we go through stuff. So that's a cool one too. But again, it took me a year before I even decided to categorize calls, which means I've been able to handle like dozens and dozens of questions, a week with one call jumbled up. So unless you've been in this for longer than me and have way more clients, and then consider it. But if not, don't overthink it. Don't do it too early.
Yeah. Awesome. So to any of our SGC students who are on, we may be doing that. Stay tuned. For now, it's like this. So our next question comes to us from Tyler Wade. He says, no one is attending my group coaching calls and asking me questions personally because of multiple reasons. Time issues, confidentiality, community issues. I'm just not sure the setting works. How can I go back to one-to-one?
I'm facing a problem. I don't know how to fix it. How can I go backwards? That's literally what the question was. I'm facing a problem. I don't know how to fix it. How can I quit and go backwards?
Well, maybe he tried some things. They didn't work.
There are forward thinkers and there are backward thinkers. Forward thinkers think of a way to still get the result no matter what, and they don't quit. Backward thinkers are trying to reserve and save and cancel and go backwards and digress because they don't know how to move forward. depending on where you focus on going, that's where you go. So how do you go back to one-on-one? First of all, just go back to one-on-one. I don't think that's a complicated process. Step one, decide. Step two, tell everyone it's one-on-one now. Now, that's not what I would do. Okay? Because then the next thing that happens, you're going to again go, how do I not do this anymore because I don't know how to fix it? No. Business is about this. About learning how to fix these kind of problems. If you can't do that, business will win. You will lose. So instead of trying to go back to what everyone's pressuring you to do, why don't you find a creative way and focus on framing the perspective and getting the clients to see the value in group. Okay? Like, if I had no one coming to questions on the group calls, okay, and they only kept messaging me, I would just stop replying. If it was that bad, I would just not reply to them one-on-one. And then I'd post in my group and go, hey guys, I'll be answering any questions you have on this call. Now, if I see if that still doesn't work, then I'll message each person. I'll get on a one-on-one call with them, not about the questions, about that behavior, and ask them what the hell's holding them back. And then I would work with their perspective until they see the value and why they should. So I'd work with each client to understand why. And after enough of my clients one-on-ones, doing one-on-ones with them to see why they should be on a group call because it's better for them and better for me, so it's better for everyone. Then I would take all the perspectives and things I use to get them to agree, and I would make a video and just send that video to every new client and make them watch it so that they realize they should do this too. It's just called being resourceful, right? Now, say any of that didn't work and they have actual problems like, no, I want this. Well, it's actually stems from how you brought them in as a client. Did you tell them they need one-on-one to succeed? Did you tell them? Because let me tell you something. Nobody needs one-on-one to succeed. No one needs it. They want it because they're more afraid, more uncomfortable, and it's easier to have you there holding their hand. Nobody needs it, though. No one is incapable of getting a result with what you give them to do on their own. Nobody. Okay? Technically, nobody needs group coaching either. They could just take a training and try with what they're learning until they get it right. Now, that is a very hard way of doing something. That's why the group model is the perfect in-between balance, because then you can help them figure it out. Maybe they're thinking about it wrong. But I promise you, no one needs one-on-one coaching. The only time I sell one-to-one, like my elite offer, is when I want to fast-track someone through the process. Not when I know they need something that they don't have in my offer. In my program, they have everything they need to make $1 million business, but I'm only going to sell them elite if they want to fast-track that because I can do it much faster with them. So I don't sell as a necessity. That's actually bad. It's an unethical business model because that means they won't achieve results unless they have one-on-one. And so you're just wasting their time in the group model. So you got to get your beliefs right about this. No one needs it. And if you're bringing them in thinking they need it and they think that, then you're going to have these problems. Okay? It's how you're framing the clients around what group in versus is in one-on-one coaching is. Now, in my thing at the beginning of my program, every time someone would message me, because I had only like 5 or 10 people in the beginning, right? Like they were just coming in. I would get a lot of people message me one-on-one, right? Because I also sold them the program. So they've already talked to me. I would just, as soon as they asked me questions, I wouldn't respond. I wouldn't answer it. I'd be like, hey, great question. Can you bring it on the call this Tuesday so I can make sure everyone else gets benefits from the answer as well? And they'd be like, yeah, I never had a problem with that. Never. I just said that. Hey, can you bring it on the call? If they had a question that's quick, it's not a call question, I'd be like, can you post that in the group? I'll answer it there. So every time they came, I just repurpose them to my group or the Facebook group, the group call or the Facebook group. But go there and post it. And then eventually what happens is first, they'll get into that habit. They'll realize you're not going to answer one-on-one. Then second, other people will see that other people are doing it and they'll start doing it. And then eventually what happens is what I have now. Rarely do my clients message me one-on-one because out of respect, they understand like I don't really have time for that. And in the on-demand program I have, they have everything they need. Plus my team gives them one-on-one though. It's not all. I'll do one-on-one as much as I can. But my team is on call for one-on-ones. But even that, we make sure like you don't book it unless you need it. Because again, you don't. Right? It's better to make them self-sufficient because they become better at doing things themselves. But now my clients understand that and they'll post in the group. They'll wait for the call. And that's the respectful like boundary I've built. I could have also let them step all over that. That's your problem. That's what all of you guys are having as a problem, is that you're not setting the context. You're not pre-framing these clients. The way you start something is the way the journey will look like. Like the way you start your morning is the way your day is going to look like. The way you, the standards you start your new relationship in is what the relationship's going to look like. The way you handle the first problem with someone is what every problem after that's going to look like. The way you respond to a failure in your own life the first time is the way you're going to respond as a person in general to failure forever until you fix it. So the way you sell a client is the way they're going to behave in the program. That's why I'm really against doing favors and this and that with clients off the bat, because I know that's already going to be their attitude throughout this entire process, which is already a sign that they will fail. Forget about whether I'm being stiff or not about my price or about the payments or whatever. That's one aspect. What's worse is if a client comes in with already high maintenance, lots of questions, lots of skepticism, very little willingness to do things. And I'm like, what am I going to try to sell the client to do this? No, I'd be like, don't do this. Because if you're gonna buy the program like this, you're gonna come in like this. You're gonna come in with high maintenance and complaining about things and everything's a problem and everything, and you're unwilling to work. No. The way I start this relationship is the way it's gonna look. The worst relationships that people suffer in, like personal relationships, is when you start by teaching the person how to treat you off the bat and it's not good. Now you're wondering a year later why the person treats you like crap. Because the first time they did, you didn't correct it and go, that's not okay. The first time your client overstepped a boundary or didn't listen to you or complained and got away with it or blamed you and got away with it was the beginning of the problem, right? That's why, again, we're all going back to the philosophical answer. All problems stem from you. You are creating your mirror in life, right? Your clients are a spitting image of you. You go, no, Armin, I have some clients. They're nothing like me. Well, of course, not exactly like you, but their behavior and the response to how they are with you in the program is how you taught them to be. I have all walks of life in this program. I have old, I have young, I have really smart, I have average smart, I have poor, I have rich. I have a lot of people in this program, all types, different nationalities, different cultures. But somehow my culture is built of a consistent level of integrity, going the extra mile, love, understanding, humor and playfulness, respect, positive mental attitude, initiative. How can all these different types of people carry the same level of behavior and the same kind of culture and character? Because they're modeling what I'm setting as the context. They're modeling me. Okay? They're modeling my team. They're modeling us. We are setting the standard for how things are, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it feels like, right? My first videos in the program are, this is hard, nothing is easy, and if you accept that, it'll feel easy. We're not here to solve your problems for you. We're here to help you solve problems because business is about solving problems, not about getting rid of them. You don't pay me to magically disappear your problems, okay? You pay me to help you solve them because you can't do it on your own. You see how we send in the context? That's the first video they see. By the way, here's a list of 50 things we don't tolerate in this program and why you could fail if you do them. And I go off. I have a list of 50 causes of failure in my program. Not in my program, like in coaching. A couple of them would be searching for the bad in everything, right? Quitting as soon as you feel resistance. Not focusing on the right things, listening to multiple different people at the same time, right? Having a help me before I try attitude mentality. Like you don't do anything, but you book a one-on-one call. Why? Did you try? You know, like those are just a list of 5 things right there. Now, because I'm addressing them, I don't deal with them as a problem. Every single time, no. Like sometimes people still go through the cracks, but I'll like go watch that video again, right? And I'm just teaching the clients how to behave. Now, here's the key part of all of this, and I'll end it with this. I'm not doing it selfishly, right? Them being that way only affects me a little bit, but it affects their whole life because that's their character. So I'm looking at this, teaching them how to treat us in the program, like my team and myself in this program, as a means to an end to help them treat their lives better. Because how you do one thing's how you do everything. And so if a person is okay with blaming or complaining or not being willing or coachable or cooperative with you, that's probably how they're showing up in their personal life as a father or as a mom, as a wife or a husband, as a coworker at their job, or as a leader in their business, or as a coach to their clients, is probably hurting them in all areas of life if they're just being like this with you. So I look at it as a coaching opportunity in and of itself, which is how you're going to behave as my client. Are you going to be open and coachable? Do you trust me? Great. So the group model is going to be better for you than one-on-one. If you trust me, you'll trust me on that, right? If you don't trust me, this unwillingness you have is slowing you down. So now I don't look at it as, can you selfishly accommodate me in what I'm asking you, which is, oh, can you please do group? Can you please help me out? Can you please do this? No, I'm here because I'm your coach. Like it or not, I'm going to give you what you need, not what you just want. And oftentimes what you need is something you don't want. Oftentimes what you need is something that does not feel good. Oftentimes what you need is outside of your comfort zone, right? But if you're not here to get out of your comfort zone with help, why on earth are you here? Did you pay me all this money to stay where you are, to be where you are? Like, imagine your life is in a box. And in this box is everything you know, and everything you know makes sense to you. Therefore, you do it. But if everything you know that makes sense to you that you do is giving you results you don't like, and that's why you're working with me, then that means everything you know that makes sense to you doesn't work. So you should stop doing it. And we're here now because we want to learn new things that you don't know, that probably doesn't make sense to you right now, and that you're not doing for you to get something you don't have, right?
Yeah.
So if I set the context like that with my clients, so when we face like resistance sometimes, I go, remember why we're here. It is you as the coach showing up how you show up that is the make or break of your culture, your business, your income, your client satisfaction. It is you, guys. It's you. So instead of asking, I don't know how to solve this, how can I do the opposite and give up? Why don't you ask, what are some more ideas? Because I'm never going to give up. What are some more ideas on how I can achieve this? And change your approach until you get it. Does that make sense? Jay? Anything you want to add?
Yes. I'm sitting here just like, go, because you're going off today. But and with the very last thing that I would add is all of this. When you take all this into consideration with your coaching clients, you have to be absolutely willing to let some people go. You have to be willing to
100%.
let the people who are not going to rise to the occasion go. We've let a lot of people go where after we've set the precedent of, what we expect, how we want things to be, etc. That doesn't mean that we don't try. We try a
But we
lot.
do our best.
we create a lot of
Yeah, but there is a point in no return.
There is. But we do create a lot of opportunities for them to show up at the level of let's say where we have our coaches, rise to the occasion, the level of standard that Armin is discussing right now. We create many opportunities for them to do so. We create many opportunities for them to get help. We create many opportunities for support. And if someone is still not willing to rise to the occasion in your business to, be coached by you or led by you in that way, be absolutely ready to let them go as well.
You guys want to hear this? This is our agreement. The terms of our agreement when you sign up for this program. Look at what the first thing says.
Armin.
No, I have refunded and kicked out. Luckily, only maybe a couple of clients in the last year, right? Based off this rule being broken. It says, if you become disruptive or difficult to work with, you fail to follow the program guidelines, or you impair the participation of our instructors or participants in the other programs, we terminate your contract. By the way, that's on the premise that we don't have to refund you. I don't want your money unless I earned it, so take it back. But technically, that's not our problem, right? It's like you buy a car, you damage it. You don't get your money back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you damage the property you bought. But that's the first thing they read, right under terms of agreement. It's the first thing before they see anything else. And we take that seriously. And I am like I'm serious about this. Like, when I do a Stripe refund, I put in the notes section, I copy and paste that to let them know why they're being kicked out. You got disruptive or difficult to work with, and that's a you problem. And maybe you need to go hire another coach on your personality, right? So you can last long in a business coaching program like mine to actually succeed. Because you need, and it's funny because people will come to me for business marketing coaching, right? They want to make more money or they want to grow their business. But like 99% of the time, they need like personal coaching.
Yeah. Life coaching.
And it's like funny because like that's what I used to do, right?
Yeah.
Reborn. So it's like they're lucky actually I'm good at this stuff. That's why most of my clients stay and they evolve because I'm giving them what they also need, which they didn't think they need. But the very few that are like uncoachable, I'm like, man, you should not be buying any marketing programs because you're going to ruin everything you buy. It's a waste of your money. They should be investing into growing themselves and their character, right? And they're in killing their insecurities and developing confidence. And it's funny because they're the ones that completely are against it. No, I don't need that. Their ego's so big. I don't need that. I'm just broke. That's all I am.
I've already gone to so many different trainings. I'm good. I'm perfect.
It's like that's the scariest ones because they're the ones who need it the most. They actually are the ones who need it the most. Yet they're also ironically the ones who think they're the most right. That they already know it. I'm like, man, you know nothing. You're naive. Yeah. I say this with love. They're naive, ignorant, and foolish all at the same time. Because the person who thinks they've known everything, they're there, is the one who knows nothing. Because if you truly knew, you would know you can never know everything. Right? So,
yep.
Anyways.
Great episode.
Good show.
You want to wrap this up, Armin?
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's do it. So, love you guys lots. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode of Clear Talk, make sure you drop down a comment below in the Facebook group. I want to know what your number one takeaway was. Hashtag takeaway, and then put us. Hashtag lesson. How about that? Hashtag lesson, and then put us. Tell us the number one lesson you learned from this episode. I would love to actually read it after. And if you're on YouTube, same thing. Hashtag lesson. Let us know what was the biggest takeaway you got from it. And yeah, like if you want help with growing your business, make sure you book a call with our office. You can hit the link somewhere, maybe in the comment section or in the description. But find me, message me. I don't really care. If you're serious about growing your business, we got the best program in the industry, in my personal, obviously biased opinion. But I deliver on what I'm saying. So anyways, hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you want more content like this. Hit that little notification bell as well. And join our high ticket coaching community group if you're not already in the Facebook group, because we give weekly and daily value in there as well. And you can interact with my team and myself to help you grow your business. We love you guys so much. If you want your questions answered every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, go to askarmin.com, submit your email and your question, and we will get you answered just like this, like we just did. And we'll see you guys next week. Go on and make the rest of your week the best of your week.